Today we are going to discuss about the sketching topic in the unit 4. Here the sketching is very important in UI and UI design because there is a no need more technical elements or materials. So we need simple paper and pencil to sketch your ideas. So now what is sketch? It is the most basic sense. A sketch is a drawing that is done quickly without great detail and with only pencil and paper. The advantage of sketching, since only a few materials are needed, sketches may be done anywhere. So, what is the materials used? Pencil, paper, tracing paper, erasers. So, you don't use any drawing tools. So, here more on sketching. So, good sketching techniques are used to capture initial idea. In addition, they are used to refine ideas and communicate technical information. These are five basic visual symbols are used. There are nine reasons to sketch. There are five types of sketch. This is the five basic visual symbols. So now the sketching is a main point is point, the symbol that is used to describe a location in space. The line, path between the 2 points. Surface, the flat or non-flat element created from curved lines. Plane, a flat surface. Structure, surface quality. Reason to sketch. Why we are going to sketch? What is the reason? So five things. Engage the people who make decisions. Develop a refined sketch of your proposal. To clarify a complicated idea. To give reason ideas to drafters. To develop a series of ideas for refining a new product or part. To analyze and develop best methods and materials for the part. Recorded permanently a design improvement on a part that already exists. To show that there are many ways to look at or solve a problem. To spend less time on drawing. So types of sketch. Its purpose of the sketch and the intent lifespan of it. The type of sketch to be used depends on the purpose of the sketch on the intent of the lifespan. The sketches need to take into consideration who will be using the drawing and for how long the drawing will be used. So drawn quickly using jagged lines, that is rough sketch. You can use roughly to draw the ideas. What is this primary purpose is express idea and thought quickly. Tools we are going to use, we not used. Attention is focused on the purpose and preparations and notes or labels are added as needed. So refined sketch, drawn more carefully than rough sketch, have better line quality than rough sketch, better proportion, use basic tools such as straight edges and templates. So presentation sketch, most refined than refined sketch, used to convince management or client to accept your ideas. As usually shown in an eye appealing three-dimensional view to appeal to non-technical people. This is very important. Three-dimensional view to appeal to non-technical people. So now temporary sketches done to solve an immediate problem as usually thrown away when longer needed. As usually kept as part of the record. There is a legal document, permanent sketch attached to files or memos. So overlay. We are going to you have to consider the three primary purposes. Reshaping an idea, refining a drawing without really changing it, add various options to basic drawing. You have to know the tips, the sketchings, visualize, implementation. To picture in the mind eye what something looks like. Implementation, to draw or create an object after it has been visualized. Next, we are going to see the sketching principles. So here, engineering, technology side, architect design, there's a very basic fundamental is sketching. Here, the so main thing you have to consider in the principles. What are the principle is observation, simplify conceptuality, line quality, proportion and scale, negative space, accurately, perspective, contrast and values, texture, consistency, experimentation, pressure and flow, ALS strategically, feedback and learning. Now observation. You have to carefully observe the subject you are going to sketching, sorry. Whether it is an object or a person or a scene, pay attention to details, proportions, and relation between the elements. Simplify complexity. That is, a complex problem, you have to make it a simplified. To a sketch. That is, need to draw a basic shape and forms. This simplification make it is easy to capture the essence of the subject. Line qualities. Vary your line length, vary your line weight and style to convey depth, texture, dimension. Light lines can represent highlights, while heavier lines can indicate shadows or bold outlines. Proportions and scale. Ensure that the proportions and scale you sketch accurately represent the subject. Use basic measuring techniques like comparative and measurement to maintain accuracy. Negative space. Pay attention to the space between the objects within the subject. Sketching the negative space can help define the positive shapes more. Composition. Consider the arrangement of elements within your sketch. Use principles like the rule of trade or golden ratio to create balance and visually pleasing compositions. Perspective. Understand perspective principle to give your sketch depth and three-dimensionality. Use technically like 1 point or 2 point or 3 point prescriptive to create a realistic spatially relationship. Contrast and values. This is very important. You have to contrast the line weight, shading, values to create depth and emphasize focal points. Darker areas can degrade while lighter areas can come forward. Structure. Consistency. Textures through variation in line quality shadings, different textures such as rough, smooth, reflective can add realism to your sketches. Maintain a consistent style and approach throughout the sketch. This helps create a consecutive and unified visual language. Experimentations is very important. Don't be afraid to experiment with the different sketching techniques, materials, and styles. Exploring new approaches can lead to creative breakthroughs. So regular practice is essential to improve your sketching skills. Set aside a time to sketch regularly, even if it is just for a few minutes each day. Gestures and flow. Gestures and flow is very important to capture the essence and movement of your subject with gestures or lines. Allow your hand to flow naturally as you sketch, emphasizing motion and energy. Erase strategically. Don't hesitate to erase and refine your sketch as needed. Erasing can help direct to correct mistakes and refine details. The feedback and learning is very, very important. That is seeking feedback from your peers, mentors, or teachers to gain insights and improve your sketching skills. Take advantage of tutorials, books, or online resources to continue learning. So now the sketch red roots. What is sketching? We are discussed in last topic, and what is the principles in the sketch you have to follow to get better sketching techniques. So now red roofs. Red root is nothing but the process of visually identifying and mapping out the most critical or high priority user journeys or tasks within the user interface or user experience designs. So you're going to map that most critical and high priority user journeys or tasks within the user interface or user experience. So red roofs are essential because they represent the core functionality that user need to accomplish the goal. Here is how to can sketch red roads. Identify the key user task. Priorities red roads. Sketching workflows. So identifying key user task. Begin by identifying the key task or user journey that centered to your design or application. This task should align with your project objectives and user need. So determine which of the tasks are most critical or red roads. These are the actions that, if poorly designed or implemented, can have a significant negative impact on the user experience or the success of the project. Sketching workflows for each and red road, starting by sketching the user workflow or journey. This involves visually mapping out the series of steps and interactions that users will follow to complete the task. Now, storyboarding. The create a series of simple sketch and storyboards that illustrate each step in the workflow. Use arrow or lines to indicate the flow of the user actions. Annotations. Add annotations or note to scale your sketch to describe what happening at next step or each step. Explain the user actions, system response, or any decision points or interaction. User interface elements. What is a user interface elements? This is the forms, menus, screens, buttons, sketches. Okay, focus on the essential element necessary to complete the task. Visual hierarchy is very important to consider and layout of your sketches. Use visual clue like size, position, and emphasis to highlight the critical elements on actions. Feedback and error handling. So we already discussed about this. Usability testing. So it's very important in usability testing. If possible, use your sketches to conduct usability testing with real users. This can help identify potential usability issues and refine your review. So now, responsive design. You have to understand sketches. What is the red rules of sketches? Both that side, you have to understand. Then only you have to design responsively. So, responsively design is approach to web design that makes web pages render well on various devices or windows and screen size. That means if the screen size variation is always possible because some people use iPhone, some people use Android phone, some people use 6.1 inches, 6.12 inches. So the screen size will be different from all the users, but your design will suit all the users. That is here we explain. That is web design that makes web pages render well on various devices or window or screen size. It ensures that websites adapt and respond predictably to different contexts such as desktop, laptop, tablets, and smartphones. So providing an optimal view and interaction experience. This was the responsive design. What is the main key principles in design? Fluid grid layout, flexible images, media queries, mobile first approach, viewport meta tag. Okay, thank you, students.